I get a lot of direct messages on Instagram, and I've noticed a pattern. Many people are making the same mistakes regarding growth hormone, and I just find it really sad to see people throw away their money. They expect great results with the growth hormone, and they're not gonna get the great results. Not because there's anything wrong with growth hormone. In my opinion, growth hormone is absolutely amazing, but there are circumstances at play, and I do believe that it's really important to understand what is going to work and what is not going to work, and what circumstances are really important for it to work, so that you don't throw away your money. In case you want to show some love and appreciation, I would appreciate if you press the subscribe button. It helps me a lot, and I'm actually putting a lot of my heart and soul into these videos, trying to make as much value as possible for all of you watching. Most commonly, I get messages from younger people who have heard about the growth hormone and all of the benefits, which are absolutely true. There are so many benefits to growth hormone, but they don't understand the basic circumstances. And that's usually the way it is when you just learn about something new, that there is so much to know, and when you get to know about it, you usually don't have any perspective on what is important and what is not as important, because you haven't really figured out what does what, right? So when a younger person writes to me and he says he just bought growth hormone, or he's gonna use growth hormone, and he starts asking questions, and I understand that, okay, this guy may be like 18 years old, 20 years old, 22 years old. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and virtue signal and say that, oh, you shouldn't, you're too young, blah, 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 okay? It has nothing to do with that. I believe in telling the truth all the way through, and growth hormone is absolutely amazing, and there's no really big downside to using it even if you're younger, okay? But if you don't make a lot of money and you want to grow big muscles, growth hormone is not where you should put your money. So first off, let's break this down regarding the dosing, okay? Growth hormone hits a certain pathway when it comes to building muscle. And a lot of people have probably heard about that it actually creates new muscle cells. So basically you're born with your genetics, which means that you have a certain amount of muscle fibers. And you can grow those muscle fibers bigger, but you cannot create any new muscle fibers. Which means that some people have better genetics for building muscle than others, because some people have more muscle fibers in the muscle. So someone who has the double amount of muscle fibers will have a lot more potential to build more muscle. And then we think, okay, you can take growth hormone and you can actually get new muscle cells, which will lead to more muscle fibers. Now that is true, okay? However, there is a dose response to that, which means that you need to hit a certain ceiling in your dose, or in order to get that benefit. So now there is actually science in this subject, but the science is made on like kids who take growth hormone in order to grow taller, okay? So that is not really that relevant. So actually what is more relevant here is the experience from coaches and athletes. Now, if you can only afford, let's say, 2 units of growth hormone per day, or maybe 4 units, that is not going to give you more muscle fibers. That is not going to increase the number of muscle cells that you have. The dose is too low. Okay, so first off, if you can't afford maybe at least 6 units, but probably up towards 8 or higher, you cannot expect to get the benefits of a high dose growth hormone protocol with a low dose. That's not how it works. Okay, so now even if you can afford 8 units or more, but you're a younger dude, okay, so you're not that old, it still is not where you should place your money. And one thing that I hear is like a lot of younger people who are really conscientious and wants to do things the right way, and they find out, okay, growth hormone is actually more of the healthy way to do this. The thing that they think is that, okay, I'm gonna run a little bit of testosterone, or maybe no testosterone at all, and then I'm just gonna go with the growth hormone because that's the healthy way. Now, growth hormone and testosterone has a synergy, which means that together they do more things than each of the compounds can do individually. So it's basically, instead of saying testosterone plus growth hormone, it's more like testosterone times growth hormone. It's a multiplication effect, okay? So it's not 2 + 2 = 4, it's like 2 times, now that was a bad example with numbers, but it's not a 3 + 3 = 6, it's a 3 times 3 = 9. Okay, so they work together. And if you want to build muscle, your growth hormone isn't really going to do that much unless you're already on a higher dose of milligrams in terms of your regular anabolics. Now, some people will run low testosterone and they will add in primobolan or maybe masteron. Now, where you get your milligrams on, I'm not going to discuss in this video, but if you're not up towards a gram of gear total or higher, thinking that growth hormone is gonna do something to develop your physique is a mistake, because it's not. So you need to have a certain amount of anabolic power in order for the growth hormone to do its magic. So let's say that you have like if you have really high growth hormone but really low testosterone, let's say you have like, let's just make some numbers up, okay? So you have 0.5 testosterone and you have 5 growth hormone, and then you multiply those and you end up with 2.5. That's a weak number, when instead maybe you could add more on the anabolics. So let's say you have 5 and then you have 5 on the growth hormone. That's 5 times 5, that's 25, okay? So trying to get muscles just from the growth hormone is not going to be that efficient, okay? So that's the first thing, and I find it really important to put it out there because there are so many kids writing to me thinking that they're gonna do things the right way, the healthy way, when in truth they're just throwing away their money because it's not gonna do that much, because they need a higher amount of anabolics in order for the growth hormone to do the magic. There is another thing here that I want to put into play. One of the biggest things that growth hormone does in terms of building muscle isn't really the myofibrillar hypertrophy. And now myofibrillar hypertrophy is when you grow your muscle fibers bigger. So that's your regular training, right? You train, you take anabolics, you grow your muscle fibers bigger, okay? That's the myofibrillar. Growth hormone doesn't really do that much in that sense. Now, growth hormone will give you new muscle cells, which in time will give you more muscle fibers, but that takes time, okay? The main thing that growth hormone will do, and this is the reason why bodybuilders don't typically use that much growth hormone in the beginning or in the middle years. They usually throw in growth hormone once they have exhausted the regular anabolics. Usually a bodybuilder builds most of the muscle in the beginning with hard training, diet and anabolics. And then when they reach the point when they can't build much more muscle like that, they throw in the growth hormone. Now the reason growth hormone does so much magic and it's so amazing for the bodybuilders on a higher level is because it's amazing at the sarcoplasmic hypertrophy aspect. Now sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is basically everything within your muscle that is not actually the muscle fibers. So all the fluids that you hold in your muscle, all the fullness. Listen, you can look at me and you can tell I'm not a big guy, okay? But I am round and I am full and I do have round muscles. That is because I carry a lot of sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. I carry a lot of fluids in my muscle. I have trained like a bodybuilder and expanded my muscles to make them round and full. That is not something you can achieve with a power building training style and eating like a power builder. That's where you separate yourself as a bodybuilder from a power builder or a power lifter, is that you get the round muscle. And that is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. That is the roundness, the fullness. Now, the way you achieve that is by making sure that you're always full, and also by expanding the muscle fascia. Now, that is a bro science term, or bro science way of saying it, that you want to expand the fascia. Now, even if that's a bro science way of putting it, the concept is true. So technically, maybe you're not expanding the muscle fascia. I mean, that's probably not how it works, but you want to expand your muscle, you want to push as much fluid, and when you train, you want to get the muscle as pumped as humanly possible. You want to expand the muscle, and after that, you want to carry that fullness for as long as possible. So if you, like, the biggest goal as a bodybuilder is to get the pump, and then carry that pump for the rest of the day. Now you fucking made it, right? If you can carry your pump for the rest of the day after you get the pump, that is what you want as a bodybuilder. Now there are many ways you can do that, right? You need to eat carbohydrates, obviously. You need to have like the correct electrolyte balance. You need to have salt in your diet, right? You need to drink a lot of water so you can keep them full. Now some people in bodybuilding, like, let's be honest, don't say that I said this, but most bodybuilders use site enhancement that usually may begin as just putting your testosterone in whatever muscle that you want to expand, and that's usually how it starts. And then a lot of bodybuilders, not all, but some do, some don't, right? They figure out, okay, well, when you put like when you put a testosterone, or let's say other anabolics, sometimes there will be a bad reaction, right? Because it's not only oil, it's also like the testosterone, the certain compound, and sometimes you may hit something in the muscle, right? Or you may just have a bad reaction and it's gonna swell up and get really ugly. And then some people, not all, but some, start using oils that are specifically made so that you're not gonna get that reaction. And that is synthol. I try to avoid that word because it's very taboo, you're not supposed to speak about it. But a lot of bodybuilders use synthol, and the ones that if you can tell that that guy is using synthol, that guy fucked up. You're not supposed to be able to tell, okay? And now that may increase, if someone is, let's say somebody has weak shoulders, and they start using synthol on their shoulders, maybe you can increase the muscle size and fullness by 20%. If you try to push it beyond that, you're gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna look bad, okay? So it's not a quick fix. It doesn't fix, like, you need muscle there first. Now, let's go back to the growth hormone because that's the subject. Growth hormone will turn fat into energy in your blood, right? So it's gonna burn fat. And when that energy in your blood combined with the IGF-1 that the growth hormone will produce, the growth hormone will convert into IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, okay? And that is gonna push all of the fat that you burn is gonna get pushed as glycogen into your muscles. And that's why a lot of people notice that when they go on growth hormone, all of a sudden they get a round and full look from it. That is because basically your growth hormone is turning your fat into glycogen in your muscle. Okay, now that's amazing. That's gonna lead to recomp, right? You're gonna burn fat and build muscle at the same time. Some people will argue that the sarcoplasmic muscle, the roundness, the fullness, is not real muscle. Whatever you choose to say, if you choose it to be real muscle or not, it doesn't matter, because as a bodybuilder, it's about the look. It's about how you look, okay? And the goal as a bodybuilder is to have as much sarcoplasmic hypertrophy and as much myofibrillar hypertrophy as possible. And then you want to keep that fullness, you want that fullness to stick, okay? Now, the higher dose you get with the growth hormone, of course, the more results you're gonna get. But I do believe that if somebody who is young and doesn't have that much muscle, if you don't have that much muscle and then you use growth hormone, you're not gonna have that much muscle to fill out. Which means that you're not gonna build a lot of muscle because you don't have that much muscle to fill out. Now, if you've been bodybuilding for 5-10 years and you have a lot of muscle, but it's not filled out, it's not round, it doesn't look like bodybuilding muscle, it may look like powerlifting muscle, or maybe it looks like CrossFit muscle or whatever, but it doesn't look like bodybuilding muscle. The reason is because it's not filled out, and growth hormone will help with that, okay? So that's like the big #1 mistake that I wanna point out. That if you're younger, you don't build your fundamental physique with growth hormone. In terms of the dark side, you build it with milligrams, with your regular anabolics, okay? So that's the first thing. I feel it's really sad when a young kid writes to me and he's putting all this money into growth hormone thinking he's doing the right thing because he wants to be healthy. when the truth is that, hey, you're wasting your money because first off, you can't afford high enough dose to get the new muscle cells. After that, you won't build much muscle because your milligrams are too low. You're not running enough gear for the synergy, right? And after that, you don't get the fullness and the roundness because you don't have any muscle to fill out yet. You haven't built the fundamental muscle that you can fill out yet, okay? Now I'm gonna try this thing. This thing has been looking at me for a while, and this is a coconut coffee. This is like halfway to ice cream. Absolutely, absolutely delicious. I will tighten up my diet soon. This is my off season, as in real off season mental break, you know. That's delicious. Okay. Now, the other thing that people use growth hormone for, where it's really beneficial, it's the lower dose, but for the youth aspect or recovery aspect, right? So growth hormone is a long chain of amino acids, and within this chain there are like amino acid building blocks that are gonna help you build up your body. So if your body builds your nails, you're gonna put amino acids there to build your nails, right? With growth hormone, your body can put more amino acids faster, basically because the chain is a couple of amino acids in the right order already prefixed that your body can just put there, which is gonna make your nails grow faster, gonna make your hair grow faster, gonna make your skin more beautiful, right? Now, as a guy in his early 20s, you don't need that shit. You're already young, you're already looking good, you don't need that shit. It doesn't fucking do anything for you, right? When you turn 40, you're gonna see a huge difference, right? You're gonna get better skin, you're gonna get nicer hair, nicer nails, you're gonna feel the youth, right? As a young kid, you don't even get that benefit because you don't notice any difference because you're already young, right? So if you take growth hormone as a younger person, and let's say that you can afford 3 units, and you're thinking, I'm gonna go 3 units growth hormone, that's gonna be like a little bit of a fat burner. That's the benefit you're gonna get. Maybe you can get a little bit better mind-muscle connection in the gym as well. It helps with that as well. And that is actually worth a lot. Now, how can I say? If I could speak to younger me in the gym, I would say don't be a fucking smartass. Listen to the bodybuilders. They all say the same thing. Build up your mind-muscle connection. Don't be the fucking smartass that thinks that it's all about the heavy weight, okay? Just, if I could give myself, when I was younger, because I thought I was so freaking smart, I figured out shit, and I thought that the big bodybuilders were stupid. Not the case. Develop your mind-muscle connection. So, if you're young, don't put your money on growth hormone. Unless you've already exhausted all other pathways, or unless you have a lot of money, or unless like you need to have built a physique already, you need to be on quite a lot of milligrams, anabolics, and you need to have a lot of money so that it's worth it. If you have a lot of money, you've already built a lot of muscle, and yeah, if you have a lot of money and already built a lot of muscle, maybe you can throw it in and it's gonna make a big difference. But if you're not there yet, don't waste your money. Okay, now I want to keep to the same subject, okay? A lot, like in terms of the audience, the younger ones, a lot of the audience have heard about the peptides that's going to help your body produce your own growth hormone, okay? Now, the molecule, the growth hormone molecule, is the exact same. It's going to do the exact same thing. The difference is whether you're telling your body to produce more or if you're just taking more. What is the benefit of telling your body to produce more? Nothing. There's no benefit compared to just taking it. Now the next thing may be, well, growth hormone is expensive. Well, guess what? If you do the calculations, I did the calculations because I was looking for the magic trick as well. If you do the calculations, you're gonna figure out that the secretagogues, as they are called, the ones that help your body produce more on its own, doesn't give you more growth hormone for your money, right, compared to just taking it. Now let's look at the downside. Your body is limited in how much growth hormone you can produce. So you cannot force your body to produce 10 IUs of growth hormone. Your body cannot produce that. Doesn't matter how much secretagogue, your body cannot pump out 10 units of growth hormone, which means that you're limited. Your body cannot, so you're not saving any money and you're limited, and there is no downside to just taking the growth hormone. There is one secretagogue called MK677 that does have a benefit, and it helps you with the appetite. So in case you need to have more appetite and eat more, yes, absolutely amazing. Take MK677, it's going to help your appetite, right? The downside of MK677 is that growth hormone usually it spikes fast and then it comes down. So it increases your blood sugar. Like I told you, it burns fat. What happens when you burn the fat? Well, it becomes glucose in your blood, which increases your blood sugar, okay? Growth hormone does that fast. It kicks up your blood sugar and then it's done, right? MK677 works across a longer period of time, which means that it's going to elevate your blood sugar for longer, which means that it increases your, like the probability of you losing your insulin sensitivity increases. You're going to lose your insulin sensitivity because you're always running high blood sugar. And long term, that can lead to diabetes, okay? Now, I don't like that way of thinking because typically the people who need more appetite are the skinny ones. And the skinny ones don't typically run the risk of getting diabetes. Okay, so like typically I don't see that as a problem. When a skinny guy writes to me, hey, I'm thinking about MK677 to eat more, but I'm scared of diabetes. I'm just looking at, bro, you don't need to be scared of diabetes, bro. You're fucking skinny, bro. So typically that's not gonna be a problem. If you're fat, don't take MK677 if you carry more fat than you want to. Because if you carry more fat than you want to, you're most likely already eating a little bit more than you should. You don't need the appetite increase. That's bad for you. And on top of that, you're gonna run high blood sugar all day, which is going to lead to like decreased insulin sensitivity and high risk of diabetes, okay? So the secretagogues that help you produce more insulin, don't fucking do it, okay? Like if you want to do it for the appetite increase and not for the growth hormone. I'm gonna have another sip of this. Jesus. Too damn good. Okay. So I want to touch on this once again, the lower dose. Women who want to stay young and beautiful, low dose growth hormone. Okay? Older men who want to keep healthy, stay young, get better skin, low dose growth hormone. You want a healthy, really healthy fat burner, low dose growth hormone. You want to build muscle, low growth hormone does not do fucking anything. It's not gonna help you. It's just a really expensive fat burner, okay? So there's like, you need to reach a certain dose in order for it to do its job. That's what I'm trying to say. Next one. Some people will say that growth hormone has a local effect where you put it. Oh. I don't want to say it's a myth, because technically it is like possible that maybe a little bit of a local effect, but because it's so fast, growth hormone is fast, and anything that is fast, it has a little bit of a local effect. But in general, your growth hormone is gonna have to pass through the liver to do its job. Fuck, don't quote me on this one. All of a sudden I became unsure about this, but basically you don't need to put it where you want it to do its effect. Its effect is global, okay? So it's gonna work on your whole body. The other thing, don't put it in the muscle, put it in the fat. There will be crazy people arguing all the time, oh, I'm gonna put it in my front delt because I need my front delt to be a little bit bigger. I'm gonna put it in my upper chest, okay? here's the thing, if you want to put it somewhere, you can put it anywhere, right? It's the same, like there is no rules for where you put your stuff, okay? Like technically you can inject, like maybe you don't want to aim for, maybe you shouldn't go for the spine. Maybe you shouldn't go for like the thick nerve string like in your spine. Maybe that's a stupid idea. You don't want to hit a nerve, right? Like any of those nerves are bad, okay? But in general, there are no rules for where you put the thing, but put it in the fat and not the muscle. If you put it in the muscle, you're not gonna get as much out of it. I don't remember the exact number, but you will lose some of the effect of the growth hormone if you put it in the muscle compared to the fat. So I don't remember the percentage, like if it decreases by 50% or maybe 30%, I don't remember, okay? And all of those numbers, when people say those numbers are not exact, because every individual is, like, there's so much difference, there's so many things that come into play that anyone that says, oh, it's exactly 37 point blah blah blah, that's all fucking bullshit, okay? That's averages taken from a study. Those numbers, they are general, okay? Now, so put it in the fat. Next one. What the fuck did I write there? I can't even read. Oh, right, those. Yeah, and then the bang for the buck. Yeah, I covered pretty much it. Okay, so now I told you how to not fuck up. Now let's talk about the benefits. So, if you take me for example, I am not in particular genetically blessed in terms of building muscle. As you can tell, I do have some muscle on me, right? I do carry some meat, but let's put it this way, in a class of 20 kids, 20 boys, okay? I am probably within the top 6 or top 5. Like I'm probably within the 25% in the top, but then there are 4 guys ahead of me, okay? So I am above average, but not in the top in terms of building muscle in that genetic aspect. I do have other genetic gifts when it comes to bodybuilding. Maybe I'm a little bit of a pretty boy, my muscle just inserts pretty. But in terms of building muscle, I'm not that genetically blessed. Let's say that I have if I put my foot on the gas and I try to build as much muscle as possible, I may have 5 kilos more to build. Maybe I can put on 5 more kgs of muscle, like in my life, and I'm expecting those 5 kgs to come within 10 years. Okay, so let's say I build like 2 kgs the coming year, and then I build 1 kg, and then half kg, and then half kg, and then 0.25. Let's say that I can put on 5 more kgs. If I blast growth hormone on top of that, I can probably build 10. Now that makes a big difference. And also it makes a big difference in terms of the look. And that's the main thing, the look. And as a bodybuilder, you want to go for the look. And as a beginner or intermediate, you usually go off the metrics pretty hard, which means that you're gonna measure how strong are you, okay? How much weight are you pushing? And then you see, do you do the progressive overload? Are you getting stronger, right? You track those things in order to make sure that you progress. And then you look at the scale a lot, like do the weight increase or decrease, right? As you become more and more advanced, the scale doesn't really say shit, right? You need to go on the look. How do you look? And that's when the growth hormone plays its magic, because if you, let's say that you eat at a maintenance calorie level, okay? And then you add in the growth hormone is gonna burn fat. Which we can see as, okay, well, you're burning fat, then you're on a deficit, right? But also on top of that, that fat turns into glucose in your blood and puts you in a calorie surplus in terms of building muscle. So you can build muscle and burn fat at the same time with growth hormone. If you do that across 5 years, you will have mutated. You will be a different human being. Shit will be completely different, right? And on top of that, you're gonna get a round muscle. And if you get round muscle, let's say that you do a rebound, you diet down for a competition, and then after that you eat more. You want to do the reverse. Now, are you mentally strong enough? Maybe not the first couple of times. I wasn't, but when you add in food after you've dieted, you're gonna get real round and full. You're gonna fucking love it. Like walk around in the gym with a rebound, you're gonna look crazy round and full. The goal is to have that roundness and fullness and be dry at the same time, and growth hormone will help you with that. And the goal is to carry that fullness, that roundness for as long as possible, so that you make it stick. You want the roundness and the fullness to become permanent, as permanent as possible, because nothing is permanent. You stop eating, you stop training, you're gonna lose your muscle. You stop taking the anabolics, you're gonna lose your muscle. Like, nothing is ever permanent. There is no permanent solution. You can look at all the biggest, most genetically, look at Ronnie Coleman now, for instance, okay? He is the most genetically human being, most gifted genetically human being in terms of building muscle that has ever walked the earth. Look at what happens when he stops training and stop taking gear and stop everything. He shrinks down. That's gonna happen regardless. But you want it to be as permanent as possible. And growth hormone is gonna help you carry that fullness even when you're dieting down. So when you're dieting down and you're on growth hormone, maybe you don't need to get flat. Maybe you can carry that roundness and fullness, which means that you're carrying more muscle. Now people will be, oh, not real muscle, only fullness. Well, what the fuck does it matter? You're a bodybuilder, it's about how you look. If you look more flat, people could be, oh, that's only flat. Yeah, well, you want to look round. Like, I get so bothered by people like, oh, it's technically, well, it doesn't matter technically. All that matters is how you look, right? And when you eat more, when you eat in a calorie surplus, this is actually really, really fucking cool. So you're in a calorie surplus both because of your diet, you eat more than you burn, and you're at an even higher surplus because of the growth hormone. The growth hormone burns fat at the same time and kind of put you on an even higher calorie surplus. We're gonna think, okay, well, at that high surplus, some of it must turn into fat, right? There's no way your body can use all of that surplus to build muscle. Well, here's the magic thing. The IGF-1 makes it a lot harder for your body to store body fat. So it's gonna be much, much harder for your body to store body fat when you have the growth hormone in. Which basically means that you're forcing your body to use the calories to build muscle and not turn it into fat. That's like absolutely amazing. So when you diet, you can keep more muscle, you can stay fuller, and you're gonna burn more fat. And when you are in a bulking phase, or a, what do you call it? They call it a progressions, what do you call it? Like improvement phase, or whatever people call it nowadays. Not gonna put on as much fat. You're gonna stay leaner. And in case you want another trick, retatrutide. It will help you stay leaner when you bulk, and it will help you, like, if you have, like, all of these things, when you have muscle, they make a huge difference. If you don't have that much muscle, you're not gonna notice it, because the fullness of the muscle does not matter as much when you're small, because you don't have that much muscle to fill out. But retatrutide and growth hormone are gonna make huge differences the higher level you get to. Is that it? Let's see if oh right, in terms of health, I already mentioned this, but if you're young, growth hormone is it's probably not worth your money. And I hate to say that shit, because growth hormone is absolutely amazing, but I don't want younger people who don't make that much money to spend their money on growth hormone. Let's say that somebody wants to do it the right way, and they're gonna spend so they can use 2 IUs of growth hormone a day, right? If you use that money instead and increase your testosterone, like increase your testosterone instead, that's gonna make a lot more results, okay? Like a lot. And if you get estrogen side effects, maybe you can switch out some of the testosterone for Boldenone, or maybe you can add an aromatase inhibitor. Don't waste your money on Primo. Trust me on this one. Just fucking trust me on this one, okay? Like in a couple of years, people are gonna be in a lot of pain, and people are gonna try to avoid to admit the big mistake that they did not understand that you can use Boldenone without really any complications at all instead of Primo. And it's gonna be slightly stronger, you're gonna get a lot more for your money, right? And the side effects that people were talking about Bolden on, like the big side effects aren't even fucking real. And in terms of making your blood thicker, just drink water. Drink water, in worst case, just add baby aspirin. Bro, just add baby aspirin. It's not that difficult, okay? And the aromatase inhibitor, people say it's unhealthy, and the funny thing is that the side effects they look at and they say it's because of the aromatase inhibitor. It's because that's taken from studies with women with breast cancer when they took down their estrogen to 0. So the side effects were not from the aromatase inhibitor, the side effects were from too low estrogen. So if you crash your estrogen to 0, you're gonna have those side effects. But not if you balance it. The side effect does not come from the Arimidex or Aromacin. The side effects comes from too low estrogen. Okay, so just keep that in mind, so that I feel like a lot of people are gonna avoid to admit that they were wrong. But hey, that's okay. Like that's completely okay. I'm just letting you guys know that if you're if you are young now and you want to be a bodybuilder and you want to do it the healthy way, there are a lot of bullshit on the internet, because according to the internet you should be running growth hormone and Primo, and that shit is fucking expensive and it's really inefficient. Like, put your money on testosterone and an aromatase inhibitor, and if you want to bump up, if you're like getting to higher gear, if you're, let's say that you're pushing above a gram, let's say that, okay, you've been doing this for 3 years now, you're becoming higher level, you're pushing between 1 and 3 grams. You can use testosterone and Bolden for that shit. You don't need anything else, and you're gonna save yourself a lot of money. In case you appreciate the video, I would very much appreciate if you show some love back and subscribe to this channel. It means a lot to me. I put my heart and my soul into this, and I really try to help as many people as possible. I don't want you to make the mistakes that I did, and I want to help you see through the bullshit, because a lot of people don't really understand as much as they make it seem as they do. See you in the next one.